Hello and a very warm welcome. My name's Amos Madra. I've got a very special guest here with me today. My guest is Tarnya Coley, who's an author and personal development coach specializing in helping women fine-tune their vision and make them unstoppable in achieving their goals. Tarnya has helped women all over the world, and she does it in such a unique way. Tanya is just one of those people who you can just sit down and release everything to. She's got a special knack of getting the most out of everybody she comes across. Tanya's got a fantastic new book, which is Plan It, See It, and Anticipate It, which we'll be talking about today. She's also written several other books in her busy schedule. So without further ado, it's a very warm welcome to Tarnya Coley. Tanya, how are you doing?
I am well, Amos. Thank you for having me. I am super excited. I'm up. I'm normally on my couch having a little snooze, but I'm up.
Why
Thank
not?
you so much. Yes.
Why not? Why not? Yes. So, Tanya, I think there's so much that we want to, we've got to talk about. There's so many questions I want to ask you. I don't even know where to begin. But just before we came on air, we were talking about lockdown. How have you found lockdown? How's the past year been for you?
The past year, do you know what? I have carved out my own future. Yes, we can look at the pandemic and over 50 million people have lost their jobs. People have passed away. We've talked about even my mom, she's lost a lot of close friends through this pandemic time, and it is a sad time, but this is the time for us to seize the opportunities, carve out our own future. So that's what I've been doing for the past year. So I'm not ignorant to what's going on. I am concerned, but I'm not consumed with it. And I've been passionate about, been writing books, coaching, and speaking all around the world, Amos, without getting jet lag.
Incredible. I mean, Tanya, where do you get the energy from?
I don't know. I'd love to know that myself. I think my mom, she's such an energetic person. She instilled in me, Tiny, just get on with it. She had me when she was 16 years old. And when she was pregnant, she told her parents, her dad kicked her out and her boyfriend had left her. And she was like, this may be my beginning, but this is not my end. And she really persevered, worked hard. She became the first person in her family to graduate university, became a social worker. She's just written her book, The Love of God, which is it's a motivational book, a devotional book, and I helped her publish it. So she is so motivated and just so energetic. I'm an only child as well to her, so I think that's where I get it from. She's so energetic and she just keeps on going. So I think I've inherited that.
That's a fantastic gene to inherit, isn't it?
Yeah.
You've been all over the globe. I don't want to get into it too much. I want to save it for later on. You've been under the mentorship of one of my favorite, if not my favorite, speaker. So we'll talk about that later on. I just don't want to get into that one just yet. But yeah, incredible. Everything that you've been doing, your energy, and again, it comes from your mum. And just seeing the way you are, I think you're full of life and you appreciate life. And I think it's so important when people come across someone like you, just to grab some of that and just to say, do you know what, if she can live a life like that, surely why can't I? And is that something that can be translated, or is it just a gene?
No, I think it's possible for everybody. And I believe it starts with your mindset. Because if your mindset is not in the right place, that you don't believe you can achieve, you don't believe you can overcome, you don't believe that you can get a hold of the things that you want in life, then you won't. If you saw me probably 20 odd years ago, you wouldn't recognize me. I had lack of confidence, low self-esteem, didn't think I'd be able to achieve things in life. And that was because of the negative things that people said over me. And for a time, I believed the negativity, that I would become nothing. I would turn out like my mom and I wouldn't achieve anything. And I grabbed a hold of those words. But then there came a decisive moment in my life where a song that comes to me from Sister Act, if you want to be somebody, if you want to go somewhere, you better wake up and pay attention. And I tell you what, I thought, you know what, where I am right now, I need to do something about it. So I decided to have a one-way ticket, coach ticket to Manchester, originally from Birmingham, and one suitcase. And I came
Wow.
to study, and I never looked back. And that's how my journey began.
Wow. And I mean, you say that lightly, but there's I think so much to take from that. First of all, not to allow someone's opinion to be your
Mm,
final result. You definitely, saw that that's not me, whatever they think or say about me. And then secondly, you changed your environment because your environment is everything, and that wasn't conducive to growth. So you made sure you moved somewhere where you knew that growth was. And also you took a chance, you took a risk,
mm.
and to go somewhere you've never been and done something you've never done before. I think that's how growth happens, isn't it?
Yeah, and that's
Otherwise, if you
possible for anybody.
incredible. Yeah. And, you've never looked back. Here you are. You've got a fantastic family. You've achieved so much in terms of education, and your life is just going up and up and up. And you're collaborating, as I was saying before, with one of my favorite speakers. And we'll get into that again very soon. I know the audience are thinking, just spit it out. Who is it? But we'll come on to that very shortly. Um, Obviously, with the way things have been going over the last year, it's been really difficult, as you mentioned. You've managed to find that as an opportunity for you to develop personally. I think again, it's a great opportunity for all of us.
Mm.
Even though yes, we are mindful of all that's happened, with the loss of life and also with people losing their jobs as well, and we have to think about them. But again, individually, it's also an opportunity for growth. In dark times comes great opportunities, and I
Mm.
think this is proven to be one of those. Could you talk to us about the people that you've come into contact with? For instance, the women that you've worked with, helping them to fine tune their vision, making them unstoppable. Are there any stories that stand out for you and you think, my goodness, wow, what an incredible turnaround she made?
Yes. Oh my gosh, Amos, there's so many incredible stories, and I have the privilege of working with women all around the world, and that's because of the pandemic. Before, I was just based, Manchester, London, Leeds, but now I'm able to work with people globally. And a lady that came, she is from Alabama, and she said she was the number one procrastinator. And I was like, well, come on, if you're around me, we're not procrastinating, not today. And she has an incredible story anyway. She had leprosy, and she said she got healed from that and wrote a story about it. But over time, she just became, I wouldn't say lazy, but just became complacent in where she was and wanted to move forward. And I helped her through the process. She wanted to write her book. I do help people write their books, and I also publish people's books as well. And I was able to coach her through that and say, come on. And I did a mindset challenge last year, and she came on and we went through that. And then she joined up to my coaching program, and she's still now part of it. And she published her book and got her book done and now available on Amazon. And she said, I am no longer a procrastinator. And those are many of the stories that women come to me. Another lady, she's a teacher, primary school teacher, and she said she's been in it for 7 years and wants to get out of it. And I said, I understand. I've been a lecturer for 15 years, and I understand that when you've come to a place where you feel stuck and want to get unstuck and be able to move into your purpose, what God has created you to do, I understand that. And now, this is through the lockdown, she contacted me. And through this lockdown, through a whole year, she has now been coached by myself. She's set up her business, ready to launch and leave her job this year. So this is some of the stories that I do help people get unstuck and live your purpose. Don't go to the grave with what you've been given. You've got to live it now. The time is now to do what you are called to do. So those are just some of the things that I help women to do.
Wow. I feel I could run through a wall right now. After hearing those words, I could run through a wall. You know, it's incredible when I hear these stories. It's always very inspiring. Um, how does the whole finding your purpose thing work? Some people might not be aware of this whole notion of a purpose. What does that mean?
That's a great question, Amos. Many people say that to me. Purpose, what is that? Because we find it very easy to talk about, you know, live your purpose, do what you're called to do. And some people are thinking, I don't even know what my purpose is. You know, are we all meant to have a purpose? And it's doing that thing that you really love to do. And sometimes it's that thing that you hate seeing and you just think that really bugs me. And that's because you only see it and you're called to do that thing. And sometimes we can be at work, for example. I was working 9 to 5, absolutely loved my job. And I was in it for 15 years. Absolutely loved teaching, helping the students set goals, take action, you know, achieve their certificates. But there came a point, you know, when you just wake up in the morning, you just think, there must be more to life than this. You know, it's, I don't know if you've ever watched Groundhog Day.
Yeah.
That's how my life became. Just automatic, routine, not even really thinking about much, just doing it. And I was in automatic mode. And I was kind of being fulfilled, but not 100%. Wasn't living life 100% on my terms. And doing things because the boss said. And sometimes it challenges your integrity, your values and who you are. And I thought, I can't live like this. And there came a point, and I wrote about it in my latest book, where I knew I was overwhelmed, overworked, and knew that I had to make a shift. When I came home late from work, and my husband had did the dinner, he's a great supportive person, and I ate, went to bed. And then in the morning, I couldn't find my car keys, and I was searching high and low. And I thought, I'm going to be late, start work at 8:30, have to drop the kids to school, then myself to work. And I thought, I'm going to be extremely late and I cannot afford to be late. And I found them, I was frantically looking, found them in my car, in the ignition. They were left there overnight. And I just knew at that point, there needs to be a change. I need to either put up and shut up with what I'm doing or make a change. And I chose to make a change, and I took a risk. And I knew that there was more for me to do. And sometimes people feel that there's more for them to do, but they feel the fear of the unknown, the fear of failure. What if it doesn't work? You know, the finances, the support. And I get that because I've been there. But I always say to people, what if it works? What if it works? And that's what I did. So that's where you have to really search within yourself. What is it that I really want to do? Be bold enough to answer that question. And it may scare you, which is great, because we walk by faith and not by sight. So you have to think about, what is it that you really want to do? And that's a really soul-searching question.
How do you transform yourself from a wandering generality to a meaningful specific?
I absolutely love that, because that was me. I was one of those. I was a sleeping lion for many, many years. And I want to help people to get out of that they don't have to be wandering around being that sleeping lion, having the potential inside of them, but just lying dormant. And with a lion, we know it has potential to chase down its prey. And we all have potential inside of us, but sometimes it's untapped. Sometimes we're living in that automatic mode and not living life on purpose, for a purpose and with purpose. And so what's important is that you have to decide, what is it that I really want? And that's a really deep question to ask yourself. What is it that I really want? And then you have to think about, okay, if I really want this, for me, it was to become a coach, a speaker, an author. If I really want to do those things, and I'm going to have to do things, like you said before, that I've never done before. So I'm going to have to set myself some goals. I'm going to have to write them down. And my great mantra is, Write the vision down and make it plain. You have to write down your goals, because not a lot of people write down their goals. 92% of people don't write their goals down. They have goals, and that's where it stops. And they're general, they're casual, strolling to their goals. But if you write them down and make a plan, how am I going to get here? And then you're going to have to do some mindset shifts, because these are things that you've never done before. And it can be scary, and it can be like, what am I doing? But this is how it works. And I use these principles in my life. And this is why I can achieve what I achieve, because I write it down, I make an action plan, and each day I work towards my goals. So when I wake up in the morning, it's not general, like, oh, what am I going to do today? What do I need to do today to bring me closer to my goals? So I have a 90-day challenge for myself from now until July. So each day I'm waking up, I'm like, right, what do I need to do today to bring me closer to my goals? And that's what I encourage people to do. Write your goals down, then do an action plan of what you need to do. Each day, work towards it. And I challenge you to get an accountability partner, because you can't be accountable to yourself. Because your goals are immovable. No one knows. But
I think regret is a good accountability partner. Yeah, regret is definitely a good accountability partner.
Yes.
But I think, what you've said there is so important, and, there's so much value in what you've just said, and whoever's listening or watching this, I would just urge you to rewind this and just to listen to what Tarnya just said, because if you pick up on what she's just said, your life will change. And what she said is really simple but so effective. Write a goal, make that vision plain, write an action plan, and just make every effort every day to do something. Even if it's something that's very small, minute, at least you can say, do you know what, I've been consistent with this, I've committed to it. So again, incredible. Tarnya, I know that, you're such a positive person. Not everybody's like that. How can people shift their mindset?
Wow, it's a big thing. And I believe it's a continuative process. It's not something I've arrived. I tell you what, sometimes the committee in my mind tell me otherwise. They tell us different things, Amos, but I'm telling you, it's a continuative process. Be transformed by the renewing of your mind. So that means that you have to continually work at your mindset. You have to tell that committee in your mind to shut up and sit down. You have to have these positive affirmations every day. Have 10 affirmations. Speak them out. Have them on your mirror, your wall, on your computer, wherever you are, on your phone, your screensaver. Speak out those positive affirmations. Change your language. A great phrase that I always use with my clients is reject and replace. Reject the negative word and speak a positive word. Replace it, not, oh, I can't, I hope. I said to someone the other day, hope is not a strategy. We can't hope, oh, I hope to do it, or I'll see if I can do it. No, I will do it. And you have to speak differently, because there's life and death in the power of the tongue. So we have the ability to either lift ourselves up or pull ourselves down, and other people. So it's really important how we speak to ourselves and the language that we use. You've got to start being positive, and it's not easy, especially when you're a negative person or always look on the dark side or the different side of life. It's important to start shifting, and it's not easy, but it's something that you have to work at, because if it was easy, everyone would be walking around happy, positive, skipping through the tulips. But it's not the case. Sometimes I'm thinking, oh, I'm not going to do that, and I have to quickly catch myself speaking like that, and then go into my toolkit and go, okay, Tarnya, you can do this. So it's about speaking those positive affirmations, working on it daily. And that's the important thing. It's a daily thing all the time. We haven't arrived, we will never arrive, but we continue to try and be that better person.
Fantastic. Thank you for sharing that with us. The past year's completely been different for you. Would you say that there's more demand for your services?
Yes, there is a more demand, and it's great because people are now thinking, because of the pandemic, actually, I want to do more. I want to be more. There's not job security, furlough, people have lost jobs. And this is giving people the time to think, actually, I want to do more. How can you help me? You know, and that's a great opportunity for me to share my story, that I was in a place where I was stuck, overwhelmed, unsure what the next steps are, needed that clarity and that focus and that accountability. And some people don't like that word accountability because it challenges you to do things differently and to take action. And that's what I have encountered with people coming to me and saying, you know what, Tarnya, it's time for me to take action. It's time for me to do something different. But then some people are challenged and thinking, if I do get a coach or if I do get a mentor, you know, what if it doesn't work? What if, you know, I get challenged, I don't know what to do, and it's that comfort zone. So a lot of people have fear. But as we know, Amos, we always say is feel the fear and do it anyway. Because if you want a different result, you're going to have to do some things differently.
Fantastic. Thanks again for sharing that. Could you tell us about a certain Les Brown that you've been working with?
You've been waiting for this.
And how did that collaboration come about?
Oh, wow. Les Brown, absolutely fantastic. So when I was working, my boss, Stuart Steen, absolutely loved Les Brown and he used to go on about him all the time. Tarnya, you should listen to him. Tarnya, you should listen to him. He's amazing. He's amazing. And I was like, okay, Stuart, all right. And then I still didn't listen to it because I was so busy with work and doing other things. Didn't take time to do it. And I was at home. I think this is during the lockdown. I was at home and my husband said, Tarnya, you have to listen to this podcast. It's absolutely brilliant. I was like, oh, why is it so urgent? You know, runs upstairs, you got to listen to this. It was Les Brown. And I was like, okay. So I listened to it and it was absolutely powerful, very, very moving. I've heard of him before, but I've never really listened to his material all the time. And then when I heard that, and at the end of it, he said, if you want to know more about what I do, get in touch. Here's my email. And I thought, he's given out his email. So I said to my husband, he said, if you want to reach out to him, email him. So my husband was like, well, email him then. My husband's very much like that. He's just like, whatever. And I'm like, oh, I can't do that. He said, well, if he said to email him. So I did. And then the next day, he said, he emailed me back saying, call me. And he gave me his number.
Wow.
I was like, he told me to call him. He's like, call him then.
Wow.
So I did it. I called him and then the phone cut out. And then he called me back on video, like WhatsApp. And I was like, my hair, you know, it was like, oh my goodness, what do I look like? When he answered that, when he was on the call, he phone in one hand and he was combing his afro. So I thought, oh, he doesn't care, neither do I then.
Was it when he had the high top, was it?
Yes, that's when he had the high top. And he asked me, oh, what do you think of it? I said, I love it. He said, my son hates it. He said, it's called that. But it actually suited him. And we struck up a conversation and he said to me that he would come to my coaching group and come and speak to them for an hour and it's possible. And I was like, wow, this is amazing. And he actually came last year to the group and it was absolutely phenomenal time. Then I signed up to his coaching for 8 weeks. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. And it was a sacrifice. And we talk about reaching goals and wanting to do what we want to do. We have to sometimes sacrifice. And for me, may not be a big thing for other people. This was big for me, Amos. I had to sacrifice my sleep because it was midnight every single Wednesday till 1:30 in the morning, sometimes 2 o'clock, 2:30, depending on how much he wants to talk. And that was that for 8 weeks constantly. And I was just like, wow. And he continued to give us homework, give us challenges. And then he threw it out there and said, okay, I'm going to do a first Power Voice Summit and I'm going to challenge you. And he said, I want you to do a 5-minute video on your story. And I was like, I don't know if I can do that, but you know, feel the fear and do it anyway. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to do it. I'm going to come out of my comfort zone. I'm going to do it. And I recorded my story and I did it. Then he challenged us again, right, I've looked at them. He gave us feedback and he emailed us the feedback. And then he said, I want a 15-minute story. I was like, oh my goodness. So I did that. And then I was one of the chosen out of 200 people. There's 20 of us for the first time speaking on his platform, you know, over 1 million people on his platform to share our story for 15 minutes. And I was absolutely nervous, but honored and privileged. And that's where the story began. And he's also written a review for the back of my new book. So that's where it all begins. When you just step out of your comfort zone and chase after what it is that you want, and then the results will show.
Fantastic. Great story there for us. Thank you for sharing that. And that's a nice segue towards your book. Tell us about the new one, Plan It, See It, Anticipate It.
Wow, yes. Beginning of this year, my son comes in the room, he's 14. He said, Mom, why don't you write a book on your favorite saying? Plan it, see it, anticipate it. I thought, why didn't I think of that? So I thought, okay, I think I will actually. And a lot of people say to me, Tarnya, what do you mean by plan it, see it, anticipate it? So for me, it's like I said before, it's about writing that vision down and making it plain. You got to get clear on what it is that you want, because only 8% of people actually achieve their goals. And if you want to be a high achiever, you have to follow these principles. So plan it. You have to plan your goals. It sounds very simple. And I'm a very simplistic person when it comes to things and telling people what to do and how to do it. I like to make it very clear. When I was a lecturer, that's what I used to do. I used to make it very clear. Right, you have your dissertation to do. This is the deadline. This is the title. This is when it needs to be submitted. Make it very clear so people can understand. And this is how you got to do with your life. We have lots of different plans in terms of our life. But do we have one for our goals? Do we have plans for our goals? And that's what's so important. Write it down, make it plain. So you're planning where you want to go. And it's like going on a trip. You're planning where you're going. I remember going to America for the first time a few years ago with my friend. I was going to a conference. And we were super excited about going. We had to research, okay, what do we need to get there? We need a visa. Okay, it's for 10 days. How many outfits do we need to get? How many dresses? How many shoes? We were planning our whole event. And that's like with our goals. Plan it out. What is it that you want? How are you going to get there? What is it that you need? Who do you need around you? Who don't you need around you? Because sometimes you have to let go of some things. So you've got to plan it. Then we've got to visualize it. I say in my book that, you know, people say, I've got to see it before I believe it. No, that's a common misconception. We have to visualize where we're going. Visualize your success. Create your vision. Visualize it. Step into it. Because when we are, say, for example, we're going to buy a car, we don't think I'm going to buy a CAR. You know, we think about the car, what it looks like, the color, the interior. Imagine you driving it, picking up your friends, parking it on the drive. That's just like with your goals. You have to visualize your goals. Visualize you achieving it. How do I feel when I get there? What am I doing? Who am I with? Attaching that emotion to it. And then we anticipate it. We know it's going to happen. We believe and succeed. We step into action and see the invisible become visible. And we see that journey of achieving. And it sounds like, oh, Tarnya, it's amazing. But when we're going through this journey, there is highs and there is lows. And it's called life. Because when the pandemic's over, we're going to have other obstacles in the way. But it's how we overcome them. And that's how we are going to get through what we need to get through. Okay, this has happened. How am I going to deal with that? How am I going to overcome that? But we're still focusing on where we're going. We're not focusing on the now, but we're focusing on where we want to be. So that's what it's all about. And then there's a bonus chapter at the end of success for your mind, because that's what we talked about before, having a positive mindset. So I give you some steps on how to have a successful mindset.
Incredible. Tarnya, when can people get hold of this book?
Well, it comes out April the 30th, which is next Friday. It's going to be available on Amazon. So that's how you can get a hold of it. And also I'm doing a book launch on the same day,
Excellent.
April the 30th. And I've got another bonus, Amos, because I'm just like, I met with I'm so blessed I have now an assistant, and we met together today, and I was talking to her about the things that we're doing, and she was just like, Tarnya, how do you find the time to do all this? I said, come on, we've got to get cracking, this is what we're doing. So I said, okay, so April the 30th, my book comes out. April the 30th is the book launch. And then on May the 10th, I have a free 5-day mindset challenge, which is really exciting because I have my coach, John Tellerico, he's going to be speaking. Jermaine Miller, I'm not sure if you've heard of him, he's from America, and he's also gone through the Lesbian program many years ago. I've got him coming, I've got Camille McIntyre coming, and N.A. Obi coming. So I've got some speakers. So it's all going to be free for 5 days on May the 10th. So it's going to be an exciting time.
Incredible. Tarnya, I am so excited for you. I think you've got some fantastic projects coming ahead. You've got a fantastic future ahead of you. And, you know, I'm only privileged and honored to be watching and seeing what you're doing. And, you know, I celebrate you, and I can't wait for all these things to come to fruition. And, you know, you're an amazing soul. And, you know, you just fill people with so much joy, hope, and love. And you know what? I appreciate you for that. Thank you. Thank you so much. How can people get hold of you?
You can contact me on my email, which is tanya@ibelieveIcan.co.uk, or you can visit my website, ibelieveIcan.co.uk, or visit me on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. Say hi, DM me. I'd love to interact with you.
Fantastic. And again, the book is launched on 30th of April. It's available on Amazon. And then May is a busy month as well. So please make sure you do connect with Tarnya on social media. She's on LinkedIn, she's on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. So make sure you do go and connect and send her a message. And that website, again, I Believe I Can. Is that .com or .co.uk? So make sure you do reach out to Tarnya and connect with her. You know, I think there's just so much to take away from today. You know, no longer, you know, shall you be a victim of life. No longer shall you allow life to assign you the small chair in the corner. You know, Tanya's shown us, given us the tools in how we can manifest and, you know, break through. Again, you know, complacency leans on the doorbell, opportunity knocks only but once, and Tanya's been here in this short, brief time to tell us how to do it. So please make sure you do make the most of this opportunity. Tarnya, thank you so much for your day today.
Thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure.